Howdy. I'd like to start by asking you a question. How many of you have ever thought, I'll go to tutoring if I end up needing it? Because I think that's how a lot of students approach tutoring. They see it as something you use after you've already fallen behind, but I'd argue that's exactly the wrong time to start. I believe first year Texas A&M students should attend at least one tutoring session before the first major exam because it improves understanding, builds confidence, and helps prevent small academic challenges from becoming much bigger ones. In college, I think this timeline looks pretty familiar. During the first week, everything feels manageable. By week two, maybe one lecture doesn't completely make sense, but you tell yourself that you'll review it later. Then week three comes around, and now you're a little confused. But instead of asking for help, you think, I'll just figure it out. And then comes the first exam. It doesn't go the way you hoped, and suddenly tutoring becomes your backup plan. The problem is that tutoring is now being used to recover instead of helping you stay ahead in the first place. According to Al Ghaffari and colleagues, students who participate in peer tutoring early in a course perform significantly better academically than students who wait until they're already struggling. In other words, tutoring is most effective when it's used proactively, not reactively. So why do students wait? Some believe tutoring is only for students that are failing. Others feel like asking for help means they aren't smart enough. And many people simply think, I just don't need it yet. But those ideas often keep students from using one of the best academic resources available to them. So instead of waiting until after your first exam, I'd like to suggest one small change. Attend one tutoring session before your first major exam. Just one. Tutoring isn't about giving you answers. It's about giving you another way to understand the material. I actually experienced this while I was taking Math 152. Throughout the semester, I spent time helping some of my classmates who were struggling with the course. One thing that I noticed is that most of them weren't incapable of understanding the material, they just needed the concept explained from a different perspective. Once that concept clicked, they were able to solve the rest of the problems on their own. That experience alone completely changed the way I viewed tutoring. It isn't a last resort, but yet another way to learn. And research supports that experience. A study by Arco Tirado and colleagues found that students who participated in structured peer tutoring early in the semester adjusted better to college and earned higher cumulative GPAs over time. Starting early also helps build confidence. When students become comfortable asking questions before they're overwhelmed, they're much more likely to continue using said academic resources throughout the whole semester and ultimately their whole college career. That one tutoring session can lead to a better understanding of material, greater confidence in the class, and ultimately a stronger semester. So before your first major exam this semester, I'd like to leave you with one challenge. Schedule one tutoring session. Not because you're failing, not because you're desperate, but because you want to stay ahead. Sometimes the difference between catching up and succeeding starts with one small decision. Thank you.